But looking at the screen right now, guys, you do see the odds there for a few different things. And I was looking over the markets. FanDuel is typically the place I will place any bets if and when I do. And this season, we will definitely sprinkle some stuff here and there. But these are my preseason odds for season predictions. And we're looking for value. We're looking for good odds on things that I really do think have a good chance at happening. And we're going to bring up the stats and take a look at this, as I want to pull up a player. Let me see if I can just get stats, skaters, Barbashev as, let me see here, see if I can just get stats for Barb. There he is, Barbashev right here. He's the first guy we are going to take a look at. Even Barbashev career stats, that's what we're looking at, because you guys can see there 20 plus goals. This is for Ivan Barbashev, sorry, apologize for the pronunciation. Ivan Barbashev to have 20 plus goals this season alone is plus 265. I think that's pretty decent value, whether you put 25, 55, 75, $100 down on that. I think it's very good value for a season prediction. Now, looking at what he's done in the past, I know with the Blues, he had the 1 year he got 60. And again, we're 60 points. He had 26 goals, and that was probably his biggest year he's ever had. Last year alone, he had 16 goals, but he was split between the Blues and Golden Knights. And, I mean, that's only 4 shy of 20 goals. He was so good in the playoffs last year. He looked great for the Golden Knights. He had 7 goals alone in 22 games played in the playoffs for the Vegas Golden Knights. That is going to hit 100%, I think, in my mind. Again, it is odds. Bet at your own risk. I'm not saying that it is an absolute lock, but for myself, in my opinion, Ivan Barbashev, having a hard time with that name. It's a little bit of a pronunciation soup for me right now. 20 plus goals at plus 265. That's a lock for me. I'm going to take that 100% of the time. And that should be a nice little chunk of change by the time the season is over, so we can take that into the playoffs with being able to bet on games and lines and things like that. For Ivan Barbashev, 20 plus goals, I think it's going to happen as long as he doesn't get injured and he plays solid minutes. He'll at least get 20 a night. Look out for Barbashev to 100% get 20 plus goals. Next up, we've actually got team prediction, and it is the Edmonton Oilers winning the Stanley Cup. They are currently at plus 1,100. They were a top team last year, 100%. They were a top team last year. They were 6th in the league last year. They got knocked out in the playoffs after kind of a very solid regular season, one of the best power plays to ever play in the entire NHL. And at plus 1,100, I'm not going to sprinkle a big bet on them, but again, they've got McDavid, they've got Draisaitl, they've got a lot of guys healthy. Darnell Nurse will be healthy this year. The tandem's got another year under their belt with Skinner and Campbell. Bouchard's going to take an elevated role this year for the Edmonton Oilers on that power play and being their top offensive defenseman on their team. So he's going to get at least 50-plus points in my mind. Evander Kane coming back fully healthy. I know he had that scare with getting his wrist cut with the skate blade last year, so he'll be fully healthy. So the sky's the limit. Their depth is a little bit better, but sky's the limit. Ekholm will be there. And I keep saying it, sky's the limit for this team. And if they end up winning the Cup and I put, let's say, $50 down on it, that'll be a nice chunk of change to take into next season if it does happen. This one's probably the biggest long shot out of all of these, but it is definitely one that I'm willing to put either 25 or 50 bucks on to see if we can get lucky in that regard. Moving on to the next one, we are back on another player's stats, and that is Matty Beniers, 30-plus goals at plus 200. I feel pretty good about this one considering the stats that he put up last year. Let's pull him up specifically. Look at career stats. So obviously 21-22, he came in, only played 10 games, came in from Michigan, still baby-faced. He put up 9 points in 10 games. It's like, okay, well, this guy might be pretty decent. Last year, and he was Rookie of the Year, Calder Trophy recipient. He put up 57 points total. Now, one thing to note is in 80 games played, he put up 24 goals. This is one of those lines where it's 30 plus goals, 30 or more. So if he hits 30, we win the bet. 30 goals, I think, is definitely doable for him, especially if he's going to take that next step. If this year is that stepping stone year, I think he's going to get 30 goals. I think he'll be up around that 65 to 70 point range. He's going to be that emerging potential all-star. I'm not going to say superstar yet, but I will say emerging all-star for Kraken to be their face of the franchise. Again, I don't want to put all that pressure on him this early in his career, but he has the potential. So that's why I feel good about plus 200, maybe sprinkle about 25, 50 bucks on that as a potential to get us some cash to go into playoffs with and have fun betting with that. I would feel very strongly about him getting 30 goals, and I hope you guys do too. And then the next one is more, it might even be a bigger long shot than the Edmonton Oilers winning the Stanley Cup, and that is Lafreniere putting up, it helps if I spell his name right, 50 plus points at plus 340. This one is probably crazier to think than the Edmonton Oilers winning the Stanley Cup. First overall pick a couple of years ago, and so far this guy really hasn't lived up to the hype. You can see his career stats right there on the screen, and came into the league 56 games. It was the shortened season, only put up 21 points. First full year, 21-22, 79 games played, 31 points. Last year, I think he played mainly third line minutes, so he wasn't playing a lot. Total ice time per game, 15 minutes. So it did go up a little bit. The previous 2 years were around 13, almost 14 that second year. Got a little bit more ice time. This past year, he had 39 points in 81 games played. That's really toting the line, and it's like, okay, he's either going to have a breakthrough year or he's just going to fizzle out. And for his sake and for his career and for his reputation, legacy, whatever you want to call it, I hope for his sake he has a big year, because I know he just signed that bridge deal, 2 years, and I forget the official money line. It's like $2 million or something around that. And don't quote me on that. It's pretty close to that. I know it's a 2-year bridge deal. And if he wants to get a big deal after that, whether it's with the Rangers or another team in free agency after these 2 years, this year and next year, he needs to have at least 50 or more points each year to earn himself like a $4.2 to $5.1 million contract for like 4 or 5 years with whomever it is going to be with. So 39 points last year, 81 games played. Is he going to play second line minutes this year? Maybe. It depends on how well he actually does. Most likely he'll play third line minutes. It'll be around 15 minutes a game. Will he get 50 points? I think it's a long shot, but if he does, at plus 340, I think that's a really, really good line to put 25, 50 bucks on. That if he does hit that, again, you've got some dough right there to take into the playoffs and try to make some more money, or maybe save it for next season, do a futures on that. Maybe they'll have him plus 60 points at like 450 next year or something like that if he gets 50 points this year. Who knows what it's going to look like. But I think Lafreniere and the Oilers are kind of the more longer shot bets, whereas Barbashev and Beniers, I think those are absolute locks for me. So if we can go 2 for 2 on the year, maybe even squeak out a 3 for 1 on the year for my preseason bets, at least with you guys, I think that would be awesome. So if any of you guys want to take these bets, be sure to do so. I want to see how it goes. Even if you put $5 on it and then you get something for the playoffs, that would be awesome. But again, bet at your own will. Don't take these with a grain of salt, I should say. It's my opinion after watching these guys and watching hockey and understanding like, okay, this is what we can expect from these guys. again, expecting and them doing are two different things, but again, bet at your own peril. So we'll maybe call this segment something else later down in the future, but what do you guys think down below in the comments? Do you think we can go 2 for 2 here, or maybe even 3 for 1? I know the Oilers one is probably the biggest long shot, and I don't think they'll do it, but at those odds, plus 1,100 with the team that they have, superstars, I think it's a good chance at it. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, or are there any other bets that we should put in for preseason bets for like a season long, whether it's goals, points, shutouts, teams winning the divisions, making the conference finals. I want to hear from you guys down below on that for this video.